Tell us, what are we doing here tonight?
So we are celebrating our 27th annual Safety Excellence Awards. And this is where we provide awards. The plants have nominated contractors who do work in and out of their plants for maintenance, turnarounds, and capital projects. And those who are the best of the best get nominated to be here.
Talk about safety and the role it plays in your industry.
So safety is paramount. So folks coming in the gate should go home just like they came in. So that is very, very paramount, and it's the number one goal of every single site, every single project, and every single day. The plants, the crews, they are focused on safety to make sure that our employees remain safe.
All right, thank you, Brandon, Lane, and Glenn. That was wonderful. Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We happen to get it on this day, so I'm glad that you all chose to spend St. Patrick's Day with us. But I hope that you've been enjoying our little Irish tavern here, and I hope that a pot of gold awaits you at the end of your rainbow tonight. And what a fine crowd you are. Thank you for joining us tonight and to celebrate your accomplishments in safety excellence. This evening, I'm reminded of the good luck that I've had to be able to share GBRIA's Safety Excellence Awards with so many wonderful companies and people for the last 19 years. Yes, it's been a generation of time, and a good time at that. I do indeed feel lucky to be standing here, but of course, we all know that in safety there is no luck, and that your hard work and quick thought into your daily activities, it is what has brought you here safely tonight. And with that, we'd now like to recognize some people who are pivotal to the success of our organization, starting with our board of directors. Our board officers include Tom Ura, Chief Operating Officer at Cornerstone Chemical and Board Chair at GBRIA. Tim Harris, Site Manager at Eastman and Vice Chair at GBRIA. And Steve Ledoux, Board Secretary, Treasurer at GBRIA. Our other board members include Mike Henshin, Refinery Manager, Marathon Petroleum, Jerry Liebold, Senior Vice President and General Manager at BASF, Jonathan Morgan, Plant Manager at ExxonMobil Polyolefins Plant, Chet Peterson, Manufacturing Manager at Shintech, Darylene Pugh, General Manager at Shell Catalyst and Technologies, Jeff Romig, Group Manager, South Shore Asphalt Group at BRIA Construction Asphalt Plant, Theo Weber, Director of Maintenance, Reliability, Engineering, and Construction at Dow, and Steve Welch, Plant Manager at Occidental Chemical Company. Please give our Board of Directors a round of applause for their dedication to our industry. They spend a lot of time with GBRIA and also with other volunteer organizations around the community, so we really appreciate them. Next, I'd like to recognize and introduce our staff, which includes Brandon Smith, Director of Safety, Workforce Development, and Operational Strategy, Sue Leger, Associate Director of Administration and Marketing, Lane Peterson, Manager of Public Affairs, Research, and Membership, Jessica Himmel, Contract Work Hour Facilitator and Office Manager, and Mallory Picard, our Safety Intern and recent graduate of Southeastern's Occupational Safety, Health, and Environment Program. Next, we have a few special guests that we'd like to recognize. Joining us from the Alliance Safety Council is Kathy Trahan, President and CEO of her team, and her team from here with us tonight. We appreciate y'all. And from Southeastern Louisiana University is Dr. Lou Yuan, Professor in the Occupational Safety, Health, and Environment Program. And from ABC, David Helveston, President of the Pelican Chapter of ABC. Thank you all for being here as we celebrate our plant and contractors' accomplishments this evening. Next, I'd like to recognize GBRIA member plant representatives who are here representing the 40 member sites who nominated contractors for our Safety Excellence Awards this year. And if you are a plant representative, we would sure love it if you would stand now so we could check you out, so we could see you. And maybe you could do a little jig for us here on St. Patrick's Day. Come on, our plant people, give us a wave. I know you're here. They're shy. They're engineers, they're shy. Okay, all right. So So the nominating plants are Air Liquide, Air Products, America's Styrenics, BASF, CF Industries, Chevron, which is, used to be Renewable Energy Group, Cornerstone Chemical, Krotz Springs Refinery, Dow, Eastman, Ethos Energy, ExxonMobil Baton Rouge Complex, and ExxonMobil Baton Rouge Polyolefins Plant, and ExxonMobil Baton Rouge Polypropylene Plant. Formosa Plastics, Grace, Hexion, Honeywell at the Baton Rouge location, Ineos Oxide, Innofos, Coke Methanol, Cura, Linde, Lion Elastomers, Marathon Petroleum, Methanex, Nalco, Nova Chemicals, Nucor Steel, Nutrien, Olin, St. Gabriel, and Plaquemine, OxyChem Convent and Geismar, Placid Refining, Rubicon, Shell Catalysts and Technologies, Shell Chemical Geismar, Shell at their Convent location, Shintech Louisiana, SNF Flowpam, Solvay USA, Syngenta Crop Protection, Total Energies, Veolia, Westlake Geismar, and Plaquemine locations both. Thank you all for participating in our awards process and for taking the time to nominate your best contractors. Let's give our plant representatives another round of applause. This evening, we will recognize 63 contractors for their achievements in 2022. It's the most that have ever been nominated, so we're very excited. We'll be hearing more about these contractors in our awards program and process shortly. So next, I would like to thank our annual partners for their support of all of our events throughout the year, and for our Safety Excellence Award sponsors for making this evening possible. This year's Platinum Annual Events partners and event sponsors are Alliance Safety Council, Apache Industrial Services, Eastman Chemical, MMR, Performance Contractors, RES Contractors, Brown & Root Industrial Services, Triad Electric Controls, ISC Constructors, Westgate, Zachary JVIC, Claymar Construction, Arkell Constructors, Acuren, SWAT, Conco, and Control Works. Thank you so much. And this year's Gold Annual Event Partners and Event Sponsors are Ardent Services, Austin Fire Systems, BASF, Cajun Industries, Dow, Excel USA, Primora Service Corporation, Shell, Turner Industries, Vecta Environmental Services, Zachary Group, CF Industries, 3S Team, Total Safety, Great River Industries, Brock, and MasterVac. Thank you. And next, our Silver Annual Event Partners and Sponsors are Action Industries, Aptim, Core Occupational Medicine, Cornerstone Chemical, Delic US, Evergreen North America, Formosa Plastics, Honeywell Specialty Materials, Insulations Inc. or I&I, Cura, MS Benbow and Associates, Olin, Pala Group, Repcon, Thermon, United Site Services, and Volks Constructors. This year's Bronze Annual Event Partners and Sponsors are shown here on the screen and can be seen in your program. Now that is a good-looking group, but I'm not going to read the whole list. So we appreciate y'all very, very much. Everybody, please take a look and appreciate. These folks do make us successful throughout the year, so we couldn't do it without you, and we appreciate you very much. Let's give them all a round of applause. And now, Tim Harris, plant manager at Eastman, is going to also on our GBRIA Board of Directors, and as our vice chair and Safety, Health, and Security Committee co-chair, is going to provide opening remarks.
I got to raise the mic a little bit. All right, thank you, Connie. Good evening, everybody. As Connie said, maybe not that much. As Connie said, my name is Tim Harris, and I serve on the GBRIA Board of Directors, and also as Vice Chairman and as co-chair of the Safety and Health Committee. This year marks our 27th Annual Safety Excellence Award, and it's hard to believe it's been that long. In 1996, a vision was set with the establishment of this program. GBRIA members and our partners in the industrial community banded together with a commitment to have a safer workplace. Through hard work and dedication, we have proven that an injury-free workplace is absolutely possible. Our mission statement says, GBRIA is dedicated to bringing value to our communities by developing innovative solutions to common industry issues advocated with one voice. This work is performed by our various committees and is organized around 6 tenets. Those tenets are enable and facilitate the pursuit of an incident and accident-free workplace, ensure access to a competitive and skilled company and contractor workforce, build support in the local community for retention and growth of our industry, facilitate operational excellence through networking and exchanges, maintain a vibrant, successful, and involved membership. And looking at all you today, I think we hit that one out of the park. And then maintain stewardship to budget and maintain the highest levels of financial integrity. Our program today, though, is all about our first tenet, enable and facilitate the pursuit of an incident and accident-free workplace. The Safety Excellence Award Program supports our goal by recognizing contractor safety performance with the added emphasis that those same contractors are an important part of our own workforce. One team. Safety performance is about more than just keeping yourself or your fellow workers safe. We have a responsibility to work safely and incident-free because we are accountable to the public who provides us the right to operate in the community. If you haven't already heard about Industry Makes, and I got my Industry Makes pin on, so if you don't have one, I encourage you to get one. I didn't see Desiree today, but it's always my fear that I'm going to show up at one of these and she's going to call me out. Anyway, Industry Makes, this is like our equivalent to the old Got Milk campaign, if you remember that. We want people in our communities to understand us better, to recognize the products that we make, to know how safe we are, and to be proud that we are part of the fabric of industry in Louisiana. Let others make noise, we'll make everything else. That's the tagline for Industry Makes. Our event this evening is about opportunity and celebration. A chance to recognize those who excelled over the past year with friends and colleagues. As we celebrate the successes, I'll leave you all with a challenge. I ask each of you to rededicate yourself and your endeavors to providing workplaces that are shining examples to every industry. Workplaces that lead the country in our commitment to our greatest assets, our employees. Going home not just in the same way you showed up, but better, happier, and fulfilled. These are truly the types of employees that industry makes. There's a QR code on the screen to sign up today and lend your support to industry. Okay. I want to thank you one more time for being here tonight, and I hope that you share in my excitement over this celebration of safety achievement. Congratulations to all the contractors represented here, your nominations, and to the plants who have dedicated the time and energy to their safety programs to help them become some of the very best, the best of the best. All right, so now I'd like to invite Connie back, who'll introduce our guest speaker.
All right, thank you so much, Tim. All right, Kent Gonsoulin. Kent is a Cajun comedian who was born in New Iberia, Louisiana, and grew up in Opelousas, Louisiana. He started performing as a Cajun comedian 30 years ago in his hometown of Opelousas, and a short time later was performing throughout the South. He is a past champion of the International Cajun Joke-Telling Contest. He appears regularly on several TV and radio programs and has acted in commercials and in 3 movies. He's also performed at the Mickey Gilley Theater in Branson, Missouri, and has been seen on the E! Entertainment Network. He's just back from his world tour, which includes stops in Ville Platte, Breaux Bridge, and Port Allen. So we're glad you could be here. He currently lives in Baton Rouge and shares his Cajun point of view with audiences in banquets, comedy shows, and corporate events. Please help me welcome Kent Gonsoulin. All yours.
Hey, là-bas. Hey, good to see you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. You want to come on up here? Good to see y'all. What a great crowd. Now, let me ask y'all this. I have performed at a couple of GBRIA events. So, but show of hands, how many people have heard me before? How many people have never heard me? How many people don't care one way or the other? Okay. I always like to know who's the honest ones. Well, it's good to be here. I just got back from this big show that I did in Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas. They invited me last week to go perform for this big church event. They had one of these big mega churches in Bentonville. Man, they flew me up there. I landed at the airport. I had to rent a car. I'm driving. My phone died while I'm in the car. I can't navigate on my phone. I got no charger. I'm driving around Bentonville, Arkansas, trying to find this church. And I'm driving around. I don't know where I'm at. I finally stop at this convenience store. I see this old fella in some overalls. He's sitting outside the convenience store. I pull up. I said, excuse me, sir. Can you tell me the fastest way to get to the Keystone Church in Bentonville? He said, well, you walking or you driving? I said, I'm driving. He said, well, that's the fastest way. So I did the show. It went great, man. Everybody had a great time. So I stuck around a little while after. Man, they had hundreds of people over there. I couldn't believe it. They had this big tent set up like outside the church over there. So I went inside there. They were having one of these old-time revival meetings. And they had a preacher up there, and he was healing people right in front of everybody. He was dragging people up there. They had this woman that had these thick Coke bottle thick glasses on, blind like a bat. And they brought her up there, and that preacher said, "Sister, do you believe?" And she said, "Yes, I believe." He bopped her upside the head. She threw off them glasses. She had 40/40 vision. Then he grabbed this other guy. He was on some crutches, and they brought him up there, and he's like, "Son, do you believe?" And that fella said, "Yes, I believe." Man, he bopped him upside the head. He threw down them crutches. He was strutting around like that, like a rooster. Then they brought this fella up in a wheelchair, and they rolled him up there, and he said, "Come up here." He said, "Son, do you believe?" And that fella said, "Yes, I believe." He said, "Come here and let me heal you." He said, "No, I'm on workers' comp." Everybody's looking over there. Am I on TV? Oh. For the Catholics out there, y'all might know we're right in the middle of Lent. I always think about my grandpa during Lent. Every year during Lent, he's been dead for years, but every year during Lent, till the day he died, my grandpa would give up drinking beer for Lent. Never drank beer during Lent. The last year before he died, he did that. He gave up drinking beer all Lent long. The night before Easter, he goes and drinks beer all night long to catch up. He was walking home about 6 o'clock on Sunday morning, on Easter morning, and he was walking home by the bayou, by Bayou Teche, so nobody would see him coming home that late. Sure enough, they were having one of those sunrise Easter services, and they were baptizing people in the bayou. My grandpa walked up too close to that. The preacher grabbed him behind the collar, drug him in the bayou, put his head in the water, pulled his head out. He said, "Have you seen Jesus?" He said, "No." Pulled his head out again. He said, "Have you seen Jesus?" He said, "No." Pulled his head out again. He said, "Have you seen Jesus?" My grandpa said, "No, but before you do that again, you sure that's where he went down?" Years ago, at the start of World War II, my grandpa's two brothers went over to Europe to fight in the war. And my grandpa went to where he usually goes at the only bar that we have at his hometown of Loreauville, Louisiana. He went in the bar and he ordered 3 beers. And the bartender was like, "You sure you want all 3 at the same time?" He said, "Yeah, I do." He said, "That's 1 beer for me and 1 for each of my brothers that going off to fight the war." The bartender said, "Well, that's something else." Gave him 3 beers and he drank them. He did that every week. He would come back once a week and he'd order 3 beers, 1 for him and 1 for his 2 brothers that were all fighting the war. About 3 months later, he's been doing that every week. He comes in and he tells the bartender, "Give me 2 beers." The bartender said, "Oh my God, don't tell me something happened to one of your brothers." My My grandpa said, oh no, I gave up beer for Lent. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am from a small Cajun town. It's in GBRIA Parish called Laurelville, Louisiana. It's not a big town. Population of Laurelville is only 1,000 people. That's true. In fact, Laurelville has been population 1,000 for the last 30 years. That's true. It's the only town in South Louisiana that hasn't changed population in 30 years. See, every time a woman gets pregnant, a man leaves town. Not much happens in Laurelville. Probably the most exciting thing of the last 10 years in Laurelville is we got our first traffic light. Oh man, the whole town was excited. They had the colors picked out and everything. Oh, it was a big deal. My grandpa, like I told you about, my grandpa was born and raised in Laurelville, lived there till the day he died. Always been in Laurelville his whole life. Man, he was a good man. He and my grandma were married 65 years. Before they both died. 65 years. In fact, on their 65th wedding anniversary, man, they both woke up in the morning and my grandma said, Papa, today's our 65th wedding anniversary. She said, isn't that something? She said, what'd you say I don't go kill a chicken and make a big Cajun gumbo? My grandpa said, why you want to blame a chicken for something that happened 65 years ago? So I always ask my grandpa, well, actually, on the 65th wedding, it was a big deal in Laurelville. In fact, the newspaper reporter from New Iberia came over to interview my grandpa. He sat down, he had the pencil and pad, and he said, Mr. Delmar, his name was Delmar Hebert. He said, Mr. Delmar, what's the secret for being married 65 years? Well, my grandpa said, I got 4 secrets for that. Secret number 1, you got to find a woman that likes to cook. She can cook a good meal every night, keep your tummy happy. Secret number 2, you got to find a woman that likes to work. She can get a good job so you don't have to work too hard. Secret number 3, you got to find a woman that can keep you happy in the bedroom. And secret number 4, and most important of all, you got to make sure them 3 women don't ever meet up with each other. My grandpa gave me the best advice. I remember when I got married 30 years ago, I went to talk to my papa and asked him if he had some advice for me before I got married. And he goes, let me tell you what I did when I got married. On our wedding night, I sat your grandma down. I said, let me tell you something. These are my rules for this here marriage. He said, every night, I'm going to come home when I want and if I want, and I don't want to hear nothing from you. Every weekend, I'm going to go drinking, fishing, or gambling with my buddies when I want, if I want, and I don't want to hear nothing from you. And every night, I want supper on the table, unless I tell you otherwise. He said, that's my rules. You got any questions? Your grandma said, no, but understand this. Every night at 7 o'clock, there's going to be sex, whether you're here or not. He said, that's how I've been married 65 years. Even my daddy was born and raised in Laurelville. Still lives out there to this day. He lives on his farm out there. My daddy was born and raised. My daddy lived way out in the country when he was growing up. I mean, so far out in the country, they didn't even have indoor plumbing. That's true. They had an outhouse. Now, I don't want to say they were well off, but they had a 2-holer. One time, him and his papa had gone out to each use a hole, and his papa was buckling up his trousers, and a quarter fell out of his papa's pocket and rolled down the hole. That was a lot of money to my daddy back then. He was like, hey, Papa, you dropped that quarter down the hole. Well, his papa didn't say nothing. He pulled out his wallet. He had a $20 bill. My daddy had never seen that much money before in his life. He was staring at that bill. His papa dropped it right down the same hole. He said, Papa, why'd you drop the money down the hole? He said, son, I just didn't have the heart to send you down there for just a quarter. Like I said, my daddy lives on his farm. He's got some cattle, and he was out there just a few weeks ago, in fact. This man comes up, drives up onto his farm. He's working on a fence or something. This man gets out. He says, "Sir, I'm with the Drug Enforcement Agency." He said, "We check in local farms around here to make sure there's no illegal drugs, and I need permission to go around your property." My daddy said, "Oh, that's no problem with me." He said, "Just don't go in the pasture right behind the barn." That man said, "Let me tell you something, sir." He pulls out his badge from his pocket. He said, "You see this badge? This badge says I go where I want, when I want, and you can't tell me nothing. You understand that?" My daddy said, "Sure, go right ahead." So my dad starts working on his fence again. About 10 minutes later, he hears this commotion. That fella's running and screaming, and he hears all. He goes up to the fence. There was that man being chased by my dad's purebred Red Angus bull right across that pasture behind the barn. My daddy stood up on the fence. He said, "Your badge! Show him your badge!" My dad is getting along in years. He's in his mid-80s now, and my mom is 80 years old, so they're getting along. And my mama developed this bad habit. She's been leaving the keys in the ignition to her car when she goes places. And my daddy's been getting on her about that. He said, "You can't leave them keys. Somebody's going to steal your car." Well, the other day, she went to the big mall in Lafayette, the Mall of Acadiana. She's at the mall. She comes out the store. She can't find her car. She's like, "Oh my God, I did it. I left the keys in the car. Somebody stole my car." So she calls the Lafayette Police Department. They came out. They wrote the stolen car report. And she had to call my daddy. She said, "Baby, I finally did it. I left the keys in the car. Somebody stole the car." My daddy said, "Nobody stole your car. I dropped you off at the mall." She said, "That's right. I forgot." She said, "Can you come pick me up?" Oh, he said, "I sure can, just as soon as I convince this cop that I didn't steal your car." My daddy's oldest sister is 95 years old. She's my aunt. Her name is Aspazi. She lives in Lowerville, good old Cajun woman. My daddy's, I'm always checking on her. You know, I called my daddy there and said, "Daddy, how's ton Aspazi?" "Oh," he said, "you're not going to believe what your aunt did. 95 years old, she went and took up aerobics class." Can you believe that at her age she's taking aerobics class? Oh, he said, "She went to that class. She stretched, then she pulled, then she stretched, then she pulled. By the time she got her leotards on, the class was over." My cousin Kusun lives in Kusun Hebert. He lives in Lowerville, been living there. Me and Kusun grew up together. We've been real close ever since we were little boys. And I remember when we were growing up, Kusun had this little pet chicken. Man, he raised this chicken from when it was a little bitty chick. He loved that chicken. Man, he brought that chick wherever we went. And finally, that chicken got big. He was like carrying this thing around. And one time we had gone to the movie theater in New Iberia. And we go, and he's got this chicken with him. I said, "Kusun, they're not going to let you in the theater with no chicken." Oh, he said, "Yeah, they will. Watch this." He puts that chicken in his pants. And he walks in the movie theater. And we go sit down. And we sit down next to these two elderly women that's sitting kind of next to us like that. And we start the movie. And about 5 minutes into the movie, Kusun starts doing like that. And he's like, "Psst, that chicken got to come out." So he unzips his pants. And that chicken stuck his head out. Finally, I hear one of the ladies sitting next to me. She's like, "Psst, that man is exposing himself to me." The other lady said, "Just ignore it." She said, "I can't ignore it. It's eating my popcorn." Kusun is a terrible driver. Nobody ever wants to ride with my cousin Kusun. One time, when my grandpa was still alive, he took my grandpa somewhere on a trip. I forgot where they went, somewhere up north like Alexandria. They're going up, they're traveling, and this police officer, state petroleum officer comes, he pulls him over, and he comes up to the car and he sees Kusun. He said, "What in the world are you doing?" He said, "You were going 10 miles an hour on the highway." Gonsoulin said, well, I know. He said, are you crazy? You could have gotten killed. You're going 10 miles an hour. Gonsoulin said, sir, I always travel the speed limit. The sign said 10, I was going 10 miles an hour. The officer said, that's not the speed limit, that's the highway sign. You on Interstate 10. Then he looks over at my grandpa sitting in the passenger seat, and he's just shaking like a leaf. He said, you see, you scared your grandpa. He thought y'all was going to get killed. My grandpa said, no. Officer, I just wish you would have stopped us 10 minutes ago when we were on Highway 182. So like he gets in trouble a lot. Him and about 10 of his buddies drove all the way to Lafayette, and they went out and spent the whole night out. They stayed out till 3 o'clock in the morning. They ended up at some bar on Johnson Street. They leave in the bar, and Gonsoulin comes stumbling out of the bar like that, and all his buddies were with. Right across the street was somebody from the Lafayette Police Department just watching him. Gonsoulin walks out to his car. He puts his key in his car. He got the wrong car. He goes around, he tries 10 cars before he finds his car. By that time, all his buddies had left. Man, as soon as he drove his car out onto the street, the police officer put the lights and everything on and pulls him over. Man, he made Gonsoulin blow into the breathalyzer. He registered 0.0. The officer was like, man, this machine must be broken. Gonsoulin said, oh, no, I'm the designated decoy. Y'all might try that tonight. I am very lucky. I do travel around a good bit, and I tell groups about Cajuns and what it's like being a South Louisiana Cajun and what it's like living down here. And one thing I do tell people is that Cajuns really have a great sense of humor. We just love to laugh, and we especially love to laugh at ourselves, right? I'm sure everybody in the room has heard a Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke before, right? Yeah, all over the country, you can hear Boudreaux and Thibodeau jokes. But the worst thing in the world is to hear somebody trying to tell one of them jokes, and they ain't got no business telling a joke like that. They got a friend of mine that lives here in Baton Rouge. He's British. He's from England. He thinks he's been in South Louisiana long enough to tell a Cajun joke. That's not pretty, no. This is my friend from England trying to tell a Cajun joke. Hey, wait, all right, then there was Boudreaux and Thibodeau. Well, Boudreaux walked up to Thibodeau. Thibodeau's hair was all mussed up. His clothes were tattered and torn. He had 2 black eyes, to which Boudreaux replied, good God, man, what happened to you? To which Thibodeau replied, well, there I was riding this horse, and the horse started to buck and buck. I tell you, the beast was mad. Finally, I was able to jump off the horse, but my foot got caught in the stirrup. To which Boudreaux replied, well, how did you get out of that? To which Thibodeau replied, well, if the manager at Walmart hadn't come out to unplug the machine, I'd still be on the horse. That ain't how you tell a Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke. I said, look, it goes like this. Boudreaux and Thibodeau went deer hunting at their deer hunting camp. Man, they met all their buddies at the deer hunting camp. They woke up early in the morning. Everybody went out deer hunting in pairs, 2 at a time. And Boudreaux and Thibodeau went out together. And later that afternoon, everybody makes it back to the camp except Boudreaux and Thibodeau. Man, everybody starts to get worried. It's starting to get dark. Finally, they seen Thibodeau walking out of the woods with an 8-point buck on his shoulders. He gets to the camp, drops that deer. The other fellow said, what happened to Boudreaux? Thibodeau said, I don't know. He must have had a stroke or something. He dropped about 3 miles back in the woods. They said, you mean you brought that deer out and you left Boudreaux? Thibodeau said, yeah, it was a tough call, but I figured nobody would steal Boudreaux. By the way, you want to hear my favorite Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke? I'll tell you my favorite Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke. So Boudreaux and Thibodeau went into a convenience store. They came out of the store, and Thibodeau pulls 3 Snickers bars out of his pocket. He said, Boudreaux, look at this. I stole 3 Snickers bars from that store. That clerk didn't even notice. He said, well, I can steal, yeah. Boudreaux said, you call that stealing? You want to see stealing? Come back in there with me. They go back in the store. Boudreaux walks right up to the clerk. He said, hey, partner, you want to see a magic trick? The clerk said, sure. Boudreaux said, give me 3 Snickers bars. The Clerk handed him 3 Snickers bars. Boudreaux unwrapped all 3 bars and he ate them right in front of the clerk. The clerk said, "Where's the magic in that?" Boudreaux said, "Where's the magic? Look in Thibodeau's pocket." Here's another thing I tell people about Cajuns, is that we do have some great words and expressions in Cajun French. Things like laissez les bon temps rouler, let the good times roll. Joie de vie, that's the joy of life. And my personal favorite, we gonna pass a good time, yes, yeah. But they have a few other Cajun sayings y'all might not know about. I thought I would teach y'all that today. The first one, let's say somebody that's not a Cajun might say, "Excuse me, but would you mind repeating what you just said?" A Cajun just says, "Huh?" Here's another one. Let's say somebody really ugly comes up to you and calls you ugly. I mean, that's the sausage calling the boudin link, huh? Here's another one. Tick a tin. That's when you order a pizza. You want the thick crust or the thin crust? Tick a tin. But by far, the best word in Cajun French of all time is couillon. Some of y'all might, if you don't know what a couillon is, let me explain. A couillon is the Cajun word for somebody that the gates are down, the lights are flashing, but the train ain't coming. It takes them 2 hours to watch 60 Minutes. And I'll tell y'all this, I did some research on this. Did you know that 1 out of every 3 people in the world is a couillon? It's true. 1 out of every 3 people. So I want y'all to look to your right. And now look to your left. If it's not one of them, guess what, couillon? And I'll tell y'all this too. In my high school, when I graduated from high school in Opelousas, Louisiana, class of 1983, Louisiana was ranked dead last in the whole United States in education that year. And Opelousas was ranked dead last in the whole state. And my high school was ranked dead last in the whole city. So the person that graduated last in my high school class, that's a couillon. And you know what else too? Smart people can do couillon things too. Y'all remember when Bill Clinton was president and he had lied to everybody on TV? That was a smart man, but I always thought when he was lying on TV, that was pretty couillon. I always thought if Bill Clinton had been a Cajun, he wouldn't have had to do all that lying. He could have got on TV and gone, now you listen to me. I did not have relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. But we sure passed a good time, yes, yeah. By the way, did Tim Harris tell y'all about his scuba diving trip he went on? Yeah, he went on a scuba diving trip in the Gulf of Mexico last summer. I can't believe he didn't tell y'all that. He being on the board. Yeah, he went on a scuba diving trip. Y'all should have seen him, man. He had the tanks on his back, that rubber suit on. He had the mask on. They were scuba diving out by one of them oil rigs out in the Gulf. And Tim got up to about 50 feet underwater. All of a sudden, he sees a Cajun in street clothes just floating along down there. Man, he thought that's remarkable. He followed that Cajun down to 100 feet. The Cajun was still just floating along down there. Finally, Tim took out his underwater writing tablet. He wrote on there, "That's the most amazing thing I ever seen. How you do that?" The Cajun grabbed it. He wrote, "I'm drowning, couillon." Well, folks, my time is up. It's time for y'all to get some awards. Yes, so happy St. Patrick's Day. God bless you. My name is Kent Gonsoulin.
All right, thank you so much, Kent. That was some wonderful. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. Thank you so much. All righty, now I'd like to invite back to the stage Brandon Smith, who will review our awards program and announce our categories, divisions, nominees, and award winners. Brandon? Come on up.
All right. Before we begin the awards overview, I'd like to highlight our two Safety, Health, and Security Committee co-chairs, Tim Harris and Jerry Liebold. It is because of their leadership and guidance that we are able to create a lasting impact as an organization. Our committee is made up of an amazing group of safety professionals from all aspects of our membership, and we truly believe the work that this group does makes an impact to the ever-improving safety performance of our industry. I'd also like to highlight our GBRIA and Alliance Safety Council Steering Committee, which is chaired by Darlene Pugh from Shell Catalyst and Technologies. Darlene's leadership in this committee has us achieving new heights and launching new initiatives. This committee is likewise made up of a dynamic group of owners and contractors that aims to bring cutting-edge ideas to training and safety systems in our industry. We'd especially like to thank Kathy Trahan, President and CEO, and her amazing leadership team at Alliance Safety Council, Joelle, Alex, Sarah, Renee, Kurt, and all of their amazing staff for working with us to equip this group to make such an impact. I'd also like to take a moment to highlight one of these projects that the committee is proud to launch. We are officially launching phase 1 of the site requirements tool, which will allow our member sites to input their site entry requirements into an online portal, thus creating a one-stop shop for our contractor partners to easily find these requirements and deploy workers. We'll have additional information coming out next week to our members. Phase 2 of this project will include the rollout to our contract partners. Thanks to the Alliance Safety Council team and the steering committee for bringing this project to fruition. We'd also like to thank our members who beta tested, or our guinea pigs, this portal, and that's BASF, Shell Catalyst and Technologies, Honeywell, and Methanex. There is a QR code in your program that you can scan and receive information once it's available. As owners and operators of industrial facilities, the state issues our license to operate. But as Tim noted earlier, our right to operate is granted by the communities surrounding our facilities. By safely operating our facilities, we earn the trust of our neighbors, and a critical element in safely operating our facilities is our partnership with our contractors, our partnership in safety with our contractors. Each year, the committee has been making the award placement thresholds more and more difficult to achieve and looking for new ways to evaluate the data that we are given and seeking out new and unique ways in which our contractors are innovating to drive safety performance, which is a testament to how much contractors have improved over the years. Tonight, we will recognize 63 companies who were nominated by our members, and we believe to simply be nominated alone for a GBRIA Safety Excellence Award proves that your company is one of an elite group. Not all nominated will walk away with an award this evening, but do not let that be your lasting impression. Let it be the recognition through this event that you are all the best of the best. Likewise, I'd like to note that several categories received singular nominations, but in these cases, each still had to rise to the threshold of being awarded, something our committee takes very seriously. And there is no guaranteed award placements in this program. Now, the Safety Excellence Awards are being presented to qualified recipients in the following categories: civil construction, technical support, commercial construction, marine construction, specialty trade and hard crafts, general maintenance and construction, specialty trade and soft crafts, and crane and rigging. In each category, awards will be presented based on company size, according to the actual hours worked company-wide. Nominees were grouped based on size and divided into 3 divisions per category. The main criteria used for the Excellence Awards evaluation includes a nomination from a GBRIA member site, a written summary of the unique or special qualities of a contractor's safety program, select responses from GBRIA Safety and Health Audit, a review of safety performance data company-wide, a comparison of the nominee's total recordable incident rate against its industry average. The Safety, Health, and Security Committee reviewed and evaluated each company relative to the criteria selected and selected winners based on a consensus decision. The contractors represented in tonight's award program represent over 120,000 employees who logged more than 250 million hours in 2022. While the committee looked at much more than each company's TRIR, it is notable to mention that the cumulative TRIR for the nominated companies tonight was a 0.19. Pretty impressive. After our categorical awards, we will award the Community Service Award, the Innovation Award, and our highest honor, the Hal G. Ginn Award. I'd like to now ask that Drake LeBlanc, safety engineer at Honeywell, if he could join me on stage, who will hand out our awards to our winners as they come up to the stage. We will begin reviewing the nominees and nominating sites for this year's program. As I announce the winners of each division and category, please send your representatives to the front of the room and accept your award. Please come up to my side of the stage, accept your award, and then exit from the other side of the stage. Once you leave the stage, you can actually go out this back door, and our photographer will take a picture with you and your team. We ask that after your group takes pictures to please return to your table to give all of our nominees our attention and appreciation. I also ask that you please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced in each category. I'll also note that in years past, we've scoured through nominees' submissions to find interesting tidbits about their safety program. And so our first place winners, you'll hear a little bit read about what they submitted. Our first category of the night is civil construction, which received a singular nomination representing over 300,000 hours worked. And the following company was nominated: Beard Construction Group, nominated by Eastman. And taking home our first award of the night is Beard Construction Group. Congratulations. Beard Construction Group has 4 core values: quality, safety, value, and reputation. Beard commits to cultivating a positive safety culture daily and concluded the year 2022 with no recordable injuries and approximately 315,000 hours logged. Beard's company's goal of prioritizing safety continues to allow their company to be best in class in safety and affords them the opportunity with valuable and quality clients. Congratulations, Beard Construction. Our next category is technical support. Nominees for this category were split into 3 divisions. The following companies were nominated in Division 1, which represents 29,000 to 135,000 hours worked. Our first nominee is Bertrand Inspection Services, nominated by Dow. Bunker Gear Specialist, nominated by Westlake Plaquemine. Lodestar Product Handling and Site Logistics, nominated by Coke Methanol. This year's third place award for excellence goes to Lodestar Product Handling and Site Logistics. Congratulations. This year's second place award for excellence goes to Bertrand Inspection Services. Congratulations. And this year's first place award for excellence goes to Bunker Gear Specialist. Congratulations. BGS strives to recognize the positives that take place in their everyday processes and encourage all employees to give continuous feedback in helping them improve their workplace. BGS set a zero-injury goal for 2022 and believes the company's positive attitudes, teamwork, and strong communication helped them reach this goal. Congratulations again to BGS. Division 2 of the technical support category represents companies with 190,000 to 423,000 hours worked, and the following companies were nominated. Technical Environmental Services, nominated by Westlake, Plaquemine. Austin Fire Systems, nominated by Honeywell, Baton Rouge, Westlake, Geismar, Rubicon, and BASF. Athlon Solutions, now Multichem, nominated by Shell Convent. And this year's third place award for excellence goes to Austin Fire Systems. Congratulations. This year's second place award for excellence goes to Athlon Solutions, or Multichem. Congratulations. And this year's first place award for excellence goes to Technical Environmental Services. Congratulations. TES noted that their goal is to put forth the best product possible, and that product is their personnel. Through their extensive in-house training program and continuous processes of both hands-on experience and classroom learning, clients' requests and industry standards are executed safely, effectively, and successfully. Moving to Division 3 of the technical support category, represents companies with 6.2 to 9.3 million hours worked, and the following companies were nominated. PSC Group, nominated by Dow, Shintech, OxyChem Convent, and BASF. Accurant Inspection, nominated by BASF and Dow. Total Safety US, nominated by ExxonMobil Baton Rouge Complex and Dow. And this year's third place award for excellence goes to PSC Group. Congratulations. This year's second place of Award of Excellence goes to Total Safety. Congratulations. And this year's first place award of excellence goes to Accurate Inspection. Congratulations. Accurate noted their commitment to health and safety of their employees and customers. Employees are trained on how to control potential hazards each day, working in a wide range of environments and multiple industries. Accurate has created a safety culture defined as the right way is the safe way, that exceeds industry standards and focuses on the behaviors that keep their employees and businesses safe. Our next category is Marine Construction, which received a singular nomination representing approximately 150,000 hours worked. And that nomination is for Stewart Construction, nominated by Cornerstone Chemical Company. And placing first is Stewart Construction. Congratulations. Stewart Construction noted that their main goal is to return employees to their families safe and healthy every day. And they achieve this goal by finding new methods of conveying their safety objectives through innovative and engaging ways that make safety relevant and personal to each employee. Congratulations again to Stewart Construction.
Your reaction to everything you've seen and heard here tonight?
Tonight was a great event. It was St. Patrick's Day, and we were so excited to be able to celebrate with everybody. It was very nice to see the smiles on everybody's faces when they received their awards, and we just had a fantastic time.
How can people get more information?
They can go to our website, www.gbria.org.
Very good.